Hello and welcome to JagaVision, episode 111. I'm Jared Nyberg. I'm co-owner of JagaSilk. 111 weeks of tea. We've been having some really awesome times. We've been having some really wonderful guests on. We've been talking about different teas. We've been talking about different interesting topics. We've been making tea. We've been talking about it. You can go back in time on our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com if you're not on it already, /JagaSilk, and you should be able to go through some of these past episodes. Today's episode is actually a continuation of 2 weeks ago. So if you go to episode 109, we had Charles on then, and then last week we actually had just more of a focus on the cold brew processes and kind of comparing hot and cold extractions. That was pretty fun for one of our new projects that we're doing. And then, next week, actually, we're going to go on a little bit of a holiday. So for next week and the week after, JagaVision will be on a short break, and then we'll be coming back in basically August 9, 10, 11, August 11th. So we'll see you on August 11th is the next show. Anyway, we have our guests on already, so we're going to have Charles and Sherri join us. And Charles is one of the owners of Les Simples. It's in English it looks like Les Simples, and it's a wonderful company out in Quebec. Charles is a dear friend from way back, and we've been talking about tea and life and philosophy for quite a long time. Sherri joins us weekly. She's the lead singer of Sister Speak. She's also my sister. She's a career musician. She does a fantastic, she has an amazing musical talent. I encourage you to go check out sisterspeakmusic.com. But both my guests, Sherri and Charles, are you there? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. We have both of you here. Okay. Amazing. Thank you. So thank you for joining. Really excited to have you both here. Maybe we can start a little bit here with I guess Sherri, you got a whisper. You were saying you're in a like a
Barnes and Noble.
there you go. So it's just a little bit more. No, fair enough. So we'll just keep it. We'll have our whispering guest, and that's good. So and then here I'm gonna do it this way. Let's see.
I'm in Barnes and Nobles, everybody.
Amazing. Okay, I have a good view for the cam. Okay, so I'm just gonna switch to an interesting view. So, excuse me. And then Charles, you're joining us from Quebec.
Yes.
Are you on your
Quebec.
farm, or you're across this? Are you at that herb farm again this time, or where are you joining us from today?
Yeah, I'm at home.
Nice.
So
Okay.
we live inside the little village, 6 kilometers from the garden.
Nice. And then you're just you're hanging out there today. Okay. And then you have your matcha Okumidori with you today.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you so much for sending that to me.
No problem. Yeah, no, it's we milled it again. For those watching, we milled this 2 weeks ago. Sherri, you have a Okumidori, but you didn't have the one by Fujioka with you, right? You had one by, I imagine, Yamaguchi.
I mixed up the okus. It's actually Okuyutaka.
Okuyutaka. Okay, Okuyutaka by Takaki. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, well, you'll be able to join us for some matcha. It won't be specifically the matcha that we milled. But you're going to be in Victoria in a couple weeks anyway, so maybe at that time you can give this Okumidori a try. Would be pretty cool. Does it sound like a plan?
2 weeks? Is it in 2 weeks?
I don't know, actually.
3 weeks.
It's 3 weeks. Yeah, I have very little sense of time. I don't know how old I am or what day it is or anything. So
2.5 weeks, because we still have to go to Germany and Vermont, and then so 2 weeks sounds like way too short, but it really is 2.5 weeks.
That's intense. So you just went to Germany and then you came back to New York and Vermont and now you're going back to Germany.
Yeah.
Is that like, are you gonna survive?
Yeah, it's fine because I'd rather do it all in one trip personally, because I don't like the carbon footprint.
Yeah.
This was a very special event this month. Kind of last minute, we were working with refugees, and they joined us on stage, and it was really special. And
That's cool.
it was I was added after the tour, so then now this is the beginning of the band tour, and then we're gonna come back to Victoria with the whole band.
I
So
saw some cool photos. That was pretty sweet. So you went live with some refugees on stage at a festival in Germany and sang your songs, right? Is that that's what happened?
yeah, and they were so sweet. They're really talented, and they've been. Some people had moved to Germany just 3 months ago from Ukraine. Other people from Russia, like 6 years ago, or from different parts of Africa, Eritrea. So
Eritrea?
all
Yeah, yeah.
Eritrea, yeah. So it was like a whole mix,
Sweet.
and yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I saw you looked pretty
everybody.
stoked.
And then I came back and then got like bug bites all over from the mosquitoes out here.
Okay.
So I have like bug bites on my arms.
They don't
But
show up. Yeah, it's
if you see me going like,
scratching. That's what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah. You know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I spent like I think an hour yesterday trying to catch mosquitoes. I couldn't fall asleep. Um, it's the season. Um, okay. Awesome. I know you talked about your project a bit already 2 weeks ago, Charles. But do you want to maybe tell everybody again about Les Simples? Les Simples.
Yeah, sure. So les simples, it's a herb farm. So we produce medicinal herbs.
Mm.
We grow the herbs and we dry them. We have around 40 different kinds of plants that we grow and that we dry. And mostly we sell them in bulk.
Mm.
We sell by the grams. Our idea about the herbs is that we want the people's kitchen to be filled with herbs. So we try to offer good quantities of herbs, and we like not to use as less packaging as possible. So we sell by the grams, and we invite people that want herbs to come with their own containers at markets. Mostly we sell at markets during the summer and Christmas markets, and we take meeting points that are at our home. People come to our place to get our plants, and we rarely send by mail, but that happens
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
sent me some by mail. There was I think
yeah.
a nice batch of where is it? I think it's right here.
Some holy basil and ashwagandha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. I think you're the one that introduced me to well, not to holy basil. You introduced me to a different plant, the giant hyssop, I think it was. The
Oh yeah,
there's a cool name for
I
it
guess.
that
I guess.
yeah.
Is it? Like,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, this is from Charles. And
yeah,
what's your partner's name?
Cynthia.
Cynthia. I don't know why I feel so terrible not retaining that. Such a lovely, lovely, lovely person, and she's the one. She was kind of like the initiator of Les Simples, right? And then you've joined
Yeah,
in, and now you're part of it
yeah,
as well. And
exactly. Yeah.
but that's many years ago now, I think. How long have you been doing this?
It's our 9th year, and
Wow.
actually our 10th year that we're gardening.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah,
This is the. That's not very visible. Maybe better over here. You see that?
Yes, yeah, we
Wow.
see it there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that looks really nice, eh? And it smells so good.
so those are the flower heads that we harvest them every
Yeah.
week. So every time they produce new flower heads, we harvest only the maybe 3 inches top of the plants.
And you lived in Japan for a bit, right? If I remember correctly, and you've always been really interested in really careful harvests of Camellia sinensis and the hand picking
Mm-hmm.
processes and being really careful production. And then I feel like you've taken that tea enthusiasm and part of what you're bringing to the table perhaps at Les Simples is that perspective, right? Of the really the careful sort of, not that they weren't careful before, but like, I feel like that's part of your being, is this attention to that. So I feel like when I get herbal teas from you, the energy is just fantastic. Like they just glow with beautiful
Mm-hmm.
chi. So I'm like
Yeah,
super stoked. Thank you for sending these, by the way.
that, you're
Yeah.
very welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a relationship with matters. Gardening for me is a lot about developing and deepening the relationship with the matters. And here we vegetable matters and the relationship with the human body through the senses. So the plants, which whatever it is, the camellia senses or any herbs, they have different way of interacting with the senses, and then throughout the cultivation, but also when we are sitting like we are now and going to taste it. So it's a relationship that is deepening all the time, and it's understanding some subtle principles of like when we're tasting aromatics and taste subtleties.
Yeah, no, fair. No, this is, I've been interested in is there's this really cool company, I think they're called Pluck. And they're kind of moving forward with this concept that I got really inspired with by there was this company he's kind of gone on a little bit of a hiatus called Requiem Naturals. He's been on JagaVision before. Sharon, I don't know if you remember him, John.
Yeah, I
But
remember.
yeah, but what he was doing is he was taking fireweed, Charles, and
Yes.
he was manipulating the enzymes similar to how you would process Camellia sinensis. And so he was kind of making like a green tea and a yellow tea and an oolong and a black tea using fireweed as the base. And he was doing
Yeah.
things like crushing it and like trying to really bring out that, and then like fast drying, slow drying, purposeful oxidation, all these things. It'd be pretty
Mhm.
cool to do that with some stuff in your neck of the woods. Hey, I wonder if it's possible
Mhm.
to experiment with maybe there's something that has a little bit more tannin, because I think it helps to kind of
Mhm.
take that tannin and do interesting things with it. I was thinking how interesting it would be to work like that's one thing, but like there may be something more local that you could do that
Yeah.
with, kind of cool.
Yeah. We're going to harvest fireweed tomorrow to do that. Actually, we make black tea transformation with the fireweed on our
Oh,
side.
you already do it. Of course you do. Okay.
Yeah,
Amazing. Yeah.
So
and
cool.
So
and
it
we
go ahead.
traveled. Oh yeah, when we traveled in Georgia, we came across somebody doing it with blueberry leaves.
Right.
So and it's really good, really amazing product.
Maybe you can send us some of your fireweed black tea and we can try milling it.
Yeah, yeah, that would be great. Actually, now that we talk about it, I should have sent you before, but I'll send it next time.
Oh no,
Definitely.
one step at a time. We get to focus on this beautiful
Exactly.
yeah, ashwagandha as well. This is great. So
That ashwagandha helped me so much in 2020.
it's
Yeah,
such a healer. It's so good for the system, hey?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like look at that. So
And,
this is
oh, wow, you see the powder is going all over the place. It's really small, huh? The
mhm.
grinding.
So
So the
you grind this. It's kind of, they call it CS in the industry, right? Cut and sifted. Are you cutting it but not sifting it? So that you kind of have both the cuts and the powder in here together?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not sifted this one.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I'm gonna just place it here so people can see it. Move that over like that. There we go. Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, it's and it smells so fragrant, and again, it feels so healing. Like I think this is almost a perfect. If I was gonna blend some things, it's almost like an ideal blend. Hey, is a little bit of. I love to drink them on their own as well, and
Mhm.
one of the ways I've been enjoying herbal teas recently, Charles, is in a little gaiwan, which I've never really done before. I've always brewed herbals very much like, I don't know, like for whatever reason, I always felt like glass teapots. There's kind of like that beautiful
Mhm.
color you often see. I kind of love to see that. But it's been really interesting to just treat them as if they are Camellia sinensis and brewing like fat doses, flash
Yeah,
infusions with hot water. It's a very interesting way to explore different herbs as well, hey?
yeah. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
That's interesting to do that.
You should, if you haven't given it a try, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I'll do
Yeah.
that. I didn't try it.
Yeah, maybe we can do that. Well, Actually, before we get into the Okumidori Okuda,
Yeah.
although Sherri can't really join us on this particular one, maybe we can have a quick Gaiwan of. Do you have any? Should we? What do you think? Should we just do the matcha? Kind of. You know, I want to try this. I'm just gonna do one. I'm gonna do the I'm gonna do the flowers. Is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I'll go get some.
Okay. And I'm gonna quickly drink it as a Gaiwan, and gonna put some water on for the matcha, and then I'm gonna put some water on for the Gaiwan. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna put that on boiling. Yeah, there we go. And then grab a little kind of secondary scale for this. I'm gonna push all my matcha gear out of the way, and then it might be useful to quickly do this. Sherri, are you there still?
Yes, I am here.
Amazing. Have you had the holy basil before?
No, I have not. I would love to try it.
Yeah, I think we did like I think we called it HLH back in the day. We always call our herbals by kind of initials in house. And we had holy basil, licorice, and what was the other thing? I feel like it was I think it was hops. I think we did hops. So it was kind of interesting. Okay, so this smells so good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weigh out what I often do for a Gaiwan that's about. I'm gonna put in 4 grams. Look at how full that is. Yeah. I'm gonna do 4 grams. I'm gonna really get that in there. Okay, 4 grams. It's a little teapot. It can only hold about 80 grams of water, but I love to do these really big doses of tea. Yeah, so Sherri, you have a Gaiwan at home now, right? So
yes,
you can give this a try. You don't have to just use your Gaiwan for your Camellia sinensis extractions. You can actually go to town on this kind of, and also you stuff it real full, and it feels like, oh my goodness, you know, it's too full. But when you pour the water on top, it does, a lot of times they do reduce down, and then you can use the edges of the sort of the lid to guide it down a bit. And then I don't really do a rinse on my herbal teas. I find that but
80 grams of water.
80 grams of water in a little Gaiwan, as hot as possible for about, I'd say, 30 seconds. And then I would do that first extraction, and it's actually kind of beautiful. Like I don't know if this comes through on the camera, but there's like a pinkish tinge to that.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think it comes through on the camera, but it's.
Could I make Singer's Delight like this?
You totally could. Yeah, you could totally make Singer's Delight like this. And Singer's Delight, we should probably get like the Les Simples version. Singer's Delight is honeybush, marshmallow root, and raspberry leaf. And I bet you that Charles does the marshmallow root, right? Is that?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you do raspberry leaf at all?
Yeah, we do raspberry leaf.
Okay, amazing. You probably don't grow honeybush. That's more of a Cedarburg, South Africa thing. But you know what I was thinking would be cool is that rooibos and honeybush are related to each other, and they're also share a lot of characteristics with Scotch broom. And it would be really cool to just like harvest some Scotch broom and then cut it down into like leaf sizes, and then like do like an oxidation like you're doing with the fireweed, make kind of a black tea Scotch broom, and then I bet you could make a localized domestic rooibos out out of an invasive species, which would be kind of cool.
Okay,
You know?
okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And then
That
we could
would
do we could do like a special version of this tea that we made for Sister Speak, which is this honeybush marshmallow root raspberry leaf. Wouldn't that be cool? Like a hyper
that would,
local.
That'd
And
be amazing.
yeah, that would be.
and maybe I could cold brew it over here and brew it in my champagne bottles into my champagne bottles. Charles, did I show you my champagne bottles?
No.
Okay, so oh, this tastes so good. Wow.
Yeah.
Are you drinking it? What are you thinking?
Oh wow. Yeah, it's very aromatic. Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's a nice way to do it, right? Like you just
Yeah.
get,
Very nice.
and then you can do multiple layers of it too. It's like
Mm.
Camellia sinensis. It's just a really nice
Yeah.
way to do it. The light on, I don't think you can see the label. I've shown the audience, so I'm just gonna turn off the light.
Oh, that's so cool.
So this is this beautiful champagne bottle. This is a Rogue. And what we did is we did a 72-hour cold infusion, and then we bottled it in a champagne bottle, and then we crown cap it so that we can pasteurize it. So normally I don't pasteurize things because you lose a lot of the nutrition, but I thought it would be really cool to do this because it's so hard to find unsweetened tea in a bottle.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be really cool to have, like, because I get to put a story on the back. So this one says, Jiang Heng wrote a poem in 1672 dedicated to the tea cultivar used in this charcoal roasted oolong, the famous Rogue of Wuyi Mountain. And Mr. Shi has employed his most excellent tea-making skills to not only draw out the prerequisite cinnamon character, the literal translation of the name, but also a fascinating montage of custard, honeysuckle, licorice, and cotton candy. Time and time again, we are drawn to Shi's brilliant work. Tasting notes of custard, honeysuckle, and cinnamon. And it's this beautiful, and this poured into a champagne glass, guys, is just awesome.
Yeah.
And
that would.
it'd be cool to take your version of Singer's Delight, cold infuse it like that, and then bottle it in champagne bottles. And then and then when we pasteurize it out of the fridge, it stays really flavorful and delicious and doesn't hurt you with bad, bacteria for about 2 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
Yeah. And we have a you can't see it on the camera, but we got a pasteurizer over in the corner that we got that has been allowing us to do this process. So we're really and we sent it off to a lab in Sydney here on the island to prove that it doesn't have bad bacteria in it after the pasteurization process. So really stoked.
That's cool.
It'd be fun to do that. Okay. I also want to experiment with making some Scotch broom into rooibos. I think it'd be fun.
I was just looking up what it is in French. I found it, and I'll look it up.
It must grow in your area too. It grows everywhere, right? I think it's just I'm allergic to it when the seeds start exploding. It makes me sneeze so bad. Yeah. But it'd be nice to. A lot of people tear it out to revitalize landscapes. Okay, I'm going to keep infusing this after the show, but I wanted to quickly move on to the matcha. Sherri, have you already prepared the matcha, or are you going to prepare it in Barnes & Nobles?
I have stuff with me.
Nice, okay. Nice. Okay.
I have a cup.
Okay. You know what? That is great. You know what's going to be good about this tea that I got going in the Gaiwan is I've had a lot of matcha today. We've been really trying to dial in some new selections from Mr. Yamaguchi, and it's been taking up a lot of my caffeine threshold. So I'm a little bit overdone today, but I really want to drink this with you. So this is going to happen. So I like to. Do you have a scale? You have a scale, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I really love to put 2 grams of tea into a bowl. I'm using actually a bowl that we got at Camellia sinensis. It's a gorgeous. Look at that red.
Wow.
This was made by a person in Quebec.
Cool.
And I think they did such a beautiful job. And I like to take a kind of I used to do a leveled off teaspoon And I still use a teaspoon because it's just faster. But I love moments when I'm like I get a 2.0. Today, today I did not, but I'm almost there. There we go, 2.0. I like to be within 0.1 gram of error. If I am too careful, where it has to be 2.0 or not, then I kind of drive myself crazy. So 0.1 gram of error. I have a kettle set for 60 degrees centigrade. If you're at home and you don't have a temperature variable kettle, for people watching, you can just put boiling water into a room temperature vessel, and then that becomes 90 degrees because boiling water is 100. Then you can transfer that into another vessel. If you've kind of prepared a thermos, like Charles, it looks like you've done, if it's got really, if you didn't preheat the thermos but you put boiling water in there, then you're already sitting at 90, which is nice. And then you can just transfer it a couple times, and then you're in a perfect place. 70 is the hottest you want to do on this tea, but as close to 60 degrees centigrade as possible, the better.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that 90 grams. So this is a style called usucha, or thin tea. And it's the ratio of 90 grams of water over 2 grams of tea. You actually see more commonly about 1.5 grams of tea and closer to 60 grams of water, because people are measuring their water amounts using a hishaku. Sherri, have you ever seen a hishaku?
No,
So this is...
I'm making kind of like my own kind of way.
That's it.
Oh, cool! I've seen that.
Yeah, and so you just actually fill this 80% full, and then I've been trying to get these without the handle because they're like, I love how beautiful they are, but it's harder to use them in a cafe setting. But I would love the bamboo flavor participation in the tea, and so trying to get the guy who makes those. And then what I like to do is I don't like to whisk it on the scale, so I move it off of the scale. I grab my chasen, and then I whisk for about 3 seconds, gathering in. Then about 5 seconds of whisking fairly vigorously. And then I start going from side to side and transition to these elongated ellipses. And then I lazily slow down and stop in the center. In tea ceremony, you do a no, or a kind of a inward to outward circle. But I like to just dome in the center like that. And then you get this nice, thick froth that makes it really nice and creamy. So
Nice.
That's amazing. I wasn't able to whisk mine as well because I had a to-go cup I was mixing it in. So
I love the way that you, like, when you're participating in these, it's just like what you got on you. It's actually lovely because it's just, it really brings it back, you know? It's like, okay, yeah, you know, like, honestly, like, if you have some cold water, like, I remember when we were in France and we were making tea for the artists when we were visiting this festival in southern France that that we love to go to, and Jordi Saval, right? But when we were making tea for the musicians after they finished, we had cold water, and it was so great because it was so hot out, and it was just so and it was so easy, to just do this nice, easy cold water whisking, and it tasted great, So
I think I'm having a misto.
Okay, you can add some milk. That's great.
No, I just made it like a diluted water.
Oh, okay. That we can call like an Americano or a sipping matcha, we'll call it.
Sipping matcha, that's
Yeah. And that works, I like to, when I'm traveling, sometimes you can just put some matcha into a water bottle of cold water and you can shake it.
Yeah, I do that too. Charles, we gotta hang out. I'm not far from you. Just a few hours.
Yeah, where are you? Which city?
Right now I'm in Vermont.
Okay.
Burlington.
In Burlington. Okay, I see. I didn't get it before. So you're really close by.
Yeah. For like one more week.
Yeah. Before you go back to your travels. Well, let's see how that tastes. The foam looks good.
Yeah,
my side.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Oh yeah, yeah.
nice.
That's some skill, Charles.
Wow.
That's some skill. Amazing. And when you drink it, try to drink it 1/3 at a time. Don't take small sips. Matcha is good to drink in a big gulp, as I'm sure you're well aware. But for those watching, there you go. You
Oh,
get,
wow, wow.
is that good?
Ooh. Mm. Yeah, it's very good.
two weeks 2 weeks old, so it's 2 weeks young. Yeah, it was milled very very
Oh,
recently, and that's
Oh,
that Okumidori Okuda by Fujioka. And the Okuda is actually talking about the micro lot. So we actually have different Okumidoris from Fujioka. One is
mhm.
Okumidori Okuda, which is like top level. Like I'm super stoked about it. And then there's another one called Okumidori Shimoyama, which is still fantastic. It's just not as high of a grade. And then
Okay.
we have another one that kind of we sell to cafes. It's a little bit brighter, a little bit more bitter, but it tastes great in a latte. It's called Okumidori Fukada. So the Okuda, Shimoyama, and Fukada are referring to what he calls those lots. So it's all the same cultivar, the same farmer, but different areas of his land. Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
mm,
that's really cool.
So,
Wow.
so you can taste that. And we're working with a farmer out of Ujitawara for the last couple of years, a new farmer that's really into organic and really unique in his growing practices, named Mr. Yamaguchi. He's actually been on the
Okay.
JagaVision show live from Japan a few times, and
Yeah.
this year he sent us 5 Yabukitas. So it's all Yabukita
Oh,
by Yamaguchi, but it's kind of been like so confusing back here, going like, okay, what are we looking at? Okay, there's the Yabukita
yeah.
yeah.
Inkyo, Yabukita Ninotani, Yabukita Yashiki, Yabukita what was it, Nakabata, and Yabukita what was the fifth one? Inkyo, Yashiki, Ninotani, Nakabata, and why am I forgetting it? Ah, Kuromamezaka. It's like black
Wow.
Black Bean Hill. It's awesome. Yeah, so
Right.
it's been really really interesting, and they all are different. Like they taste there's a lot of similarities, but just these different micro regions. It's really interesting. But also the Okuda though by Fujioka, this is like a staple for us. I remember I think when we first met Charles, I was at the tea
Yes.
festival in Victoria
Yeah.
many years
Yeah. Yeah.
ago, and we were serving eagle for the first time. We were like super stoked about it, and it was like uh,
Okay.
an owl, raven, and eagle. Do you remember this?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I
I
think I
remember.
think I think it was then. I might be confused. It might be maybe you had dragonfly and butterfly. I don't know, um, but I think it was owl, raven, and eagle. Anyway, eagle at that time was this matcha. So that's how long we've been bringing this one in. So
Okay.
every year, it's just the same matcha, but we instead of giving it sort of like a category name, we're talking about the cultivar, the microclimate, and the farmer. So it's just more information in the name. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Mm.
Wow. But,
Love it. Yeah. But
yeah.
so
Let me tell me why. I've, the first thing that comes to my mind about describing the taste of this tea is a airiness. It's really airy, like etheric, but not as high as etheric as empty as ether, but it's really airy, and there's no bitterness. Pretty much no bitterness at all, and I find it has a cereal kind of a grain, roasted grain, or
mm,
with dry straw kind of aftertaste, and coming and
Yeah.
it's the aftertaste becomes more vegetable, like a bit more green and chlorophyll. But why is it so light, like so airy? What makes that no bitterness and very like very aromatic?
and smooth, right? Like there's like a. Do you taste the
Yeah,
umami? Do you get that kind of that
yeah.
soupy background flavor?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how you describe the money of this cake. Yes,
Yeah.
the different.
Like it's how I've been trying anyways to convey it. But yeah,
Yes.
it's I mean, there's a lot of things involved in getting that flavor profile. I think some of the toasted notes you get from the heat off of the mill, so that's some friction that gets added. But I think that plays a it part. That flavor profile. I think some of the toasted notes you get from the
Oh,
whoa, there's a repeat happening. I think that plays a different profile. Hello, hello. Oh no, are you guys hearing this echo?
yeah.
Oh, I think it disappeared. Hello? Did we lose
Hello.
Charles?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, good. Yeah, there was this weird, like my voice was replaying itself. It was really weird. Um,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So to answer that, there's a little bit of the mill. I was actually talking to one of the farmers about kind of heat saturation. There seems to be a thing where, like, when you roast the tea in the tea roaster to finish fire it, there's a little bit there. Before that part happens, when they finish with the tencha in the factory, it goes through a brick oven, so there's a little bit of heat for the drying stage there. When I mill, there's a little bit of heat in the on the plates, and there's also a little bit of heat in the hot water that we use to whisk it with, and so it's balancing those out, and also the steaming process at the beginning. So, you know, how long did you steam it for? In Kyoto, it's generally a lighter steaming, like 20 seconds instead of like in Fukuoka where it's closer to 45 seconds. And then in Kyoto, they generally don't finish fire, so they like that what the Fukuokans will call it kind of a grassiness. But the Kyotons will say, no, it's not grassy, it's floral. So it's all about the nose, right? But the tea that's produced in Fukuoka, a lot of people in Kyoto will say it's burnt. But the people in Fukuoka will say, no, it's not burnt, it's nutty. So it's like a difference in opinion, right? Now, personally, I like both. I love a good aromatic. I also like kind of a caramel or like kind of a roasty flavor dynamic. So I find that now that I get to have a little bit more control over the end product, when I get a selection from Kyoto where there's like very little heat in the process at the beginning, I actually mill it a little bit hot. And a lot of people in Kyoto mill at about 40 degrees centigrade. I'm milling
Yeah.
at about, 20 degrees is the water behind the teeth, but the actual tea coming out is closer to 20, 25 degrees centigrade that's coming out. But it used to get quite a lot hotter than that when I was milling it myself because we didn't have as much intimate control because we didn't have these this chiller that we have now that lets us keep the temperature really stable that we were showing last time. And so yeah, we're able to kind of find this ideal place where the texture is good. We could mill it a little bit finer, but as long as it's under 10 microns, we're pretty happy. But sometimes, the difference between 5 microns and 7.5 microns actually makes a big difference. So, yeah, we like to just we like to keep it, around that range. And then depending on the cultivar, we make it a little bit tighter on the mill or a little bit coarser. But with this Okumidori Okuda, we find it just does really well this way. Some people might want it a little bit like hotter. They might want to, if you want to bring out a little bit more acid, you can actually brew it at 70 degrees centigrade. If you're like, you know what, like it's almost too smooth for me. If you feel that way, totally. Or you can actually drop down. I find this tea does really well, just stronger. So keep it at 60, but brew it with, instead of 90 grams of water, brew it with 80 grams of water. And then you get the more richness. It can actually handle being made into a koicha, which is 2 grams of tea, but more like 12 grams of water, boiling, mind you. And then that lets you make kind of like a paste, like paint, and then you just like eat it like a jelly, and it's just so good. So there's different ways you can work on it. Yeah, what's up?
Oh, do you find any effect if you like, depending on what mood you're in when you're milling?
Does it affect the tea? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think a lot of things in life, it's about that attention, right? Like if you're able to be with it. Now, I think that our system here doesn't really allow for the close participation that would probably make for more of a meditative experience with milling the tea. It's pretty
but
pretty
I've seen
frantic.
I've seen you at work though, and you're like, choo, 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 with the and you look like you're in the zone. You're just like having a good
Yeah,
time.
it is. We're having a good time. Yeah, I know. Like, I guess I get what you're saying. Yeah, when I feel rested and I'm in the zone, I feel like I get a better product out of it for sure. I think that when it's a little bit more kind of skipping steps and not doing the quality control the way that we want to, I know that, for example, we have two mills going, one from a company called Terada and another one from a company called West. And if I let the West go without a quality control moment, it can sometimes grind a lot coarser than the Terada, and it can be kind of sandy. And then any of the kind of competition grade matchas that I mill through that guy, always get a little bit disappointed, whether it be the
Uh-huh.
Okuyutaka or the Okumidori Okuda or the Yabukita by Fujioka. Any of those ones on the West when I am not paying attention is problematic. The Terada is a little bit easier, and also in the past, Sharon, when you were in Victoria, we didn't have the chiller set up the way we do now, and
Mm-hmm.
so we had this kind of aquarium tank almost going, and we were constantly replacing the water and filling it with ice bottles. But we hooked it up to maybe around the end of your time here before you went on went over east. Um, we have attached a chiller that's used in brewing to the plates, and so we can control the temperature that way, which is a lot less work. We're not constantly replacing ice bottles, and we're able to have a fairly um, stable temperature. Makes a big difference for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, it does make a difference if we're on the ball, really checking
Mm-hmm.
those quality control points. Or there's times when it's just so nuts. And for example, I really don't like milling on Fridays because we are open for the T-bar on Fridays. And if I have to
Mm-hmm.
make drinks and I manage the mill at the
Yeah.
same time, it's a lot harder. But
Yeah.
yeah, what can you do? Sometimes you
I
do what
do.
you got to do. Yeah, what's up?
I do have to run. I've been
Yeah,
really enjoying this.
yeah,
Sorry,
please.
it's a.
It's all good.
But yeah.
Thank you for joining us. We're about to wrap up
Yeah.
pretty quick here too. But before you go, then Sherry Ann, those that are watching that want to check out where you're going next on your tour and check out your music, where can they go?
Uh, sisterspeakmusic.com/tour. Vermont this weekend, then Germany, and then Vermont again, and then and New York,
Hmm.
and Boston area, Massachusetts, and then Victoria on the 13th.
Which
And
we're really excited about. So that's this year. And you can also, Charles, if you're tuning in, you can go to actually youtube.com/JagaSilk and we live stream the performances. So on the
Yeah.
13th, when she's here, you'll be able to tune in and watch the Sister Speak band perform if you're
Yeah.
so interested. It's from 12
and
to 4
I wish you
Victoria
could
time.
join it. I wish you could join us, Charles. You're so
Yeah. Yeah.
talented.
August 13th.
Come
Yeah.
on over.
I would
Yeah.
like to. When were you in Victoria last?
I was just in Victoria in April
Okay.
or March. April.
Awesome. Yeah, and you
Then,
and
then
I'm also reminded that you can watch past episodes too, like or past shows. So like the sessions that we do, like we had David Santana, Douglas Hensley, Matt Stern. You can watch all those performances on the YouTube channel as well. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Yes, um, Charles. Maybe next year we can have your wonderful accordion um, over here in Victoria. Wouldn't that be cool?
that would be.
Make a point of it. Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah.
And we'll
I,
make something
I have
happen.
I have a little bottle of essential oil from what's the name of the tree? I don't remember it right away. But last time I went to British Columbia was to get a refill from that little essential oil, and it's running out. I think I still have 1.5 years of it, but then I'll have to go back then.
Yeah, it's
Um,
obviously it's just got to happen then. Then you have two
yeah,
reasons for your trip. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, and maybe we can have you on the show again then. We can drink some more tea together.
totally.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well,
Yeah,
Sherry Ann, thank you so much for coming on the show, and
no
I
problem.
hope you have
Thank you
an
so much.
awesome rest of your tour, and we'll see you again in August. And I know we'll see you before that on some of these. Actually, no, the next JagaVision will actually be right before your show. So I don't know if you're on the 13th. It'll be the next one will be August 11th. We're taking 2 weeks off for JagaVision. So
Yeah, I'll be
Maybe joining from an airplane again or something.
Montreal, actually.
Okay, sweet, cool. Well, maybe we'll have both. Maybe Charles will be in Montreal too, and we can all just hang out again on the
That'd
11th.
be so cool.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Sherri Ann, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. Good to see you both.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
And Charles, check this out. This is coming up. Oh, that's the audience can't really see that very well. I'm gonna switch to a different camera.
Yeah, then we can see it on
Yeah.
the table.
On the table. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see it on the table. That's actually a good way to do it. I think that's what I'll do. So let's go back to that.
Is it a gin, like a drink? The drink?
Yeah. So it's like this company called Copper Spirit Distillery.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that. Okay. They're really, 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 really talented. And they're based off of they're on Bowen Island. And
Bowen Island.
yeah. And then they like wildcraft Douglas fir.
Yeah.
And then they put it in with juniper berries and other botanicals to make their gin. And they're going to do a gin, like a kind of a spring gin, using tencha and yuzu from JagaSilk.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Isn't that cool?
Wow, that would be nice.
And then my band, Truth and Dolphin, we're going to be performing for the release on the 23rd. So that's coming up on the Saturday on Bowen Island. So those watching can buy tickets on our webpage. And yeah, it's like that Copper Spirit and JagaSilk collaboration gin release. So yeah, really, really, really stoked. It's going to be lots of fun.
You'll get to travel there on Saturday then.
That's the plan. That's the plan. Well, yeah, we're gonna travel there. We're going to go through Nanaimo, and then yeah, we're gonna have a really good time. So, but I hope you enjoyed the matcha, and I really liked having your tea with the Gaiwan. I'm gonna drink more of that after this. I'm pretty wired. I had a lot of tea today, so.
I have mine infusing the second infusion here. The whole basil.
You're gonna do it? That's okay. I'm gonna join you. I'm just gonna.
Oh, it's really dark now.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay. Did you have yours infusing?
I'm about to. I'm gonna kind of. I think I have some boiling water. I'm gonna move this out of the way.
And how many matchas did you have today?
I had probably six, I think, but they weren't full shots. Like I was drinking them, like sharing them, so 1/3. So maybe it wasn't as much. It just feels like more, I guess. But yeah, we've been but it's been good. I'm gonna just try and make it so that the people watching can see what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna go back to that layout that I had. Just give me one sec. Okay, that'll do. Okay, and back to this. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna try some of your herbal tea, the lovely holy basil. So what is maybe as we're ending here, you can tell people, Charles, if you don't mind, what does holy basil do for your system? Like, is there a medicinal component to it that's maybe helpful for people to know about?
Well, the holy basil can be regarded as like a panacea. It is good for lots of things, but I come to think of holy basil as a strong aromatics. And I take just that characteristic of the plant, like it's aromatic side, as its therapeutic actions. And the aromatics are they enter the body right when we smell it. So molecules, when we actually we feel a smell, it's actually a molecule that comes into the body, and that actually goes into the lungs and gets right away in our bloodstream in really small doses, but it still has an impact right away on our nervous system. And it's a buffer. It helps to loosen like a really tight nervous system, or
Hmm.
it will give energy to a inert nervous system. So somebody that is really smooth and tired will get a bit vivified by just the aromatic, just by smelling it. And
This is perfect for me right now.
yeah, exactly. Mhm.
That's
You,
awesome.
you'll see, you'll see.
Look at that color. Second round. A lot more visible, hey?
Yeah,
Does that
yeah,
look
totally. You see mine as well. That's. Oh, how long did you have it infusing?
about 20 seconds?
Oh, very short. Okay, I had it like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's so good. It's almost savory. Like it's like
Mhm.
there's like it's
Yeah,
floral, but there's like a kind of a sage saltiness to it,
mm-hmm.
and then there's like a like really amazing texture. That is so
Mm.
good. Yeah, I'm really into this. This is really
Yeah,
great. I'm gonna Gaiwan your tea, man. I'm
yeah,
very
yeah,
very stoked for that. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much. We do got to end. I really
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you coming on, and I wish we could talk more. I have so many more things that I want to ask you about.
We'll see each other maybe during maple sap or harvest in the
Yes,
spring,
we'll make it
next spring.
happen. Yeah, next spring we're gonna go
Yeah,
and we're gonna go
we
and
have
harvest
to.
some maple syrup. So you got to tell me when that's gonna happen, a day or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. It's hard to tell because it's the time of the year where it freezes at
Yeah.
night and that changes every year. But I'll look in the average time
Sure.
when it's like
Yeah. I mean,
when it's,
when we went to Japan to harvest tea, it was the same deal. They're like, we don't know the exact day, so we just bought tickets and we just hoped. I think I had to back it up 2 weeks, but we were able to
yeah,
do that. We were able to do that soon enough that I didn't lose anything in the. I think I had
yeah.
to pay a little bit of a transfer fee, but it wasn't
Well,
the end of
okay.
the world. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
work. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
So we'll make it happen in the spring. Hopefully we can talk before then. I'd love to just
No problem.
yeah, just talk. And I really appreciate you coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me over, and thank you so much for the tea. That's really delicious.
No problem. Yeah, we sent Charles a little bit of a care package too, so he can
Yeah, yeah. So many tea.
There's
I
some
was
2000.
over.
They're 2021, so I'm sorry, but they're really good.
Yeah, they're very good. They're still very, very good. I
Cool.
appreciate them. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, gratitude, my friend. We will talk
Same.
again soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
talking to you.
And les simples, so
Listen.
LESSIMPLES.ca, right? That's where people
Yeah,
watching can go and check out your stuff. Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Do you have your music up as well, like your accordion work? Do you have it anywhere? Do you have any sort of like? Should people just look up Charles Antoine Ferdinand on YouTube? Is there anything up there where
Yeah,
they?
there is some little things, but I didn't do much recordings.
Okay. Well, maybe I have an album I'm working on. Maybe if it's still happening when you come up, maybe we can have you play like an outro on a song or something. That'd be really fun.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. We'll see what happens. Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye, Charles.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was Charles Antoine Ferdinand joining us from Quebec. Really, really fun having him on the show. That was the second in a two-part series. We milled that matcha we drank together on the mill 2 weeks ago on episode 109. You should go back onto youtube.com/JagaSilk and check that out. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll be off for 2 weeks on JagaVision, and then you'll see us back that second week of August on the Thursday. So looking forward to making that happen and to seeing you then. Until then, remember you can come and check out this this gin release that's happening on Bowen Island on the 23rd. You can come and see Sister Speak Music. She's going to be playing on the 13th. So yeah, let's yeah. Hopefully we'll see you there. Take care. Goodbye.